Well, this is a moment in life when so much is going on, but I decided as of this evening, I've already uploaded my videos about painting the Ukrainian Santas and decided I'd get on here just to do a few videos on how I will paint these Grandfather Frost statues. And there's a little place where I think I'm gonna get a special little brush with which I will start something out here and then like kind of get out, make sure we get the right paint out because there's so many of them that look so much alike. We kind of got to separate from the right ones, and it is going to turn up here. Yes, we found it. There's kind of like a little vanilla cream paint I have, which is kind of similar to an ivory white, which, or a, which is something I've used in the past to paint along the ruffles of these Santa figures, and because it keeps it separated from the white that is of the beard and the mustache and all. So I'm going to take a little dip into the paint here, and we're going to kind of paint along here like this, along the ruffle of the Grandfather Frost hat. It's like when I did that original Carving Santas from Around the World book, where I carved them and painted them, they suggested that you use ivory to paint the ruffles of the coat and hat, and that you use a light ivory, which is a kind of a shinier, duller, I'd say paler white, purer white, to kind of go about the beard and mustache and the eyebrows, because it could kind of make it come out and stand out just a little bit better. So that kind of would just separate the two pieces from each other. And I started going out and getting a special vanilla paint that I could kind of use for part of it, but they quit carrying that at the Hobby Lobby, and I started getting the rather type of vanilla cream instead, which comes close enough, and yes, it does separate from the plain white in the same way the ivory or vanilla does. So as you see, I kind of got that little bit of work done along here. We're going to paint along here and make this little place here where we come out to the rest of the ruffle and just do a little more work inside of him. And so as for a little work that comes along this way, it's just doing ourselves little favors just to make it all come in like it is. I would always get overly creative in my younger years of carving and kind of do a lot of religious themed things, try to make little people and characters that had little different pigments, different colors, different races, different ethnicities, and it would kind of vary from one to the next whether they get sold or not. So I decided to take along the work and make it so it comes out a little bit better. I did post something to Facebook about the Ukrainian Santas and about the tentative little plans I have for those. If it works out that way, I may come back on and let you all know, but if you want to know the tentative plan, then you can just go to the Facebook page and see where I've posted the pictures and let that tell you just a little bit more about it. No decision has been made yet, but it's just something I've thought about just now and thought about it for a few days now, so that's what it all comes down to being in the last step. There's probably going to be a few little more places where I'm going to kind of sand off a little bit to try to make this come a little more, and so it's going to be the thing where we're going to see a little work come into this guy, and there's little holes in the wood where we gotta fill in a little paint to make them a little extra, make them a little better, and then try to work along this way and make it so it's going to be a little brighter in the end. And so we come this way, come this far, and we're gonna put him right there. There's going to be other little works to work along the way, and so we kind of got to fill a little void in here to make it so we're going to see how little Grandfather Frost is going to have his little ruffle around his hat. I've seen different versions of Grandfather Frost. I've seen him with a bear. I've seen him with a horse. I've seen him in different ways of different things, and all the different ways he's come across to us, and seeing how, as a majestic Santa as he is, you know, it's like there's just so much to our legends, you know, got a lot to say, a lot to do, all the little collective things that come about in life, and make it so we'll see a little better ways about us in the end. Because, you know, I think about how I've shopped all those years at Dollar Tree and got all those nice books from there, that from where I learned all those nice things, learned about all these interesting people, and I'd say most of all it kind of introduced me a little more into the depth about Father Nicholas, so learned a little more about him and the ways and all the things there were to share and to know. Even watched some video stories and legends about him on YouTube, to that matter, lately. So there's been a lot to share and a lot to know, and I say that just a little work comes away. I'd tell you probably a little bit more about what's going on at my job school cafeteria now, but it can kind of wait a few moments, wait a little while, because we only got one more last week to work in there, and then it'll be the end, because it's real busy in there right now. And you know, although we kind of got some things fixed in there that we needed fixed, I'd say it's kind of hectic now, because you know how it gets to be with kids whenever it gets close to the holidays, and how everyone's trying to get out and get it over with by the break. And so, as for a little work we do along here, we make it so we see how the hat shall come along, and just a little work done into him. There's probably going to be times when we're going to come back and like sand away the smudges, but just to let you know, the top of the hat and the coat are going to stay the natural color of the wood. So that's kind of the way I've been on here to share this evening, and it kind of is a little bit even later than usual while I'm doing this, and so it was good to come on, share a little work with you all, and kind of try to say that there's going to be more to show, more to do. Goodbye. Well, I decided I'd come on for a little moment and maybe try to take the places where a little paint got out beyond the edge of the ruffle and try to sand those little places. So that's where the little bit of extra work is coming in, and we're gonna try to get rid of as much of it as we can. And so that's how we got him turning out here. There's a place where even on this one you can probably see a place or two where it came out, so we're gonna sand along there, get rid of all those little extra smudges that got out either onto the hair or onto the hat, and try getting rid of those as best as we can, I say. And as for the work, way it will come along, got little places here to go, and we're gonna try to see what else we gotta do here. I'd say we probably got more than one little container of flesh tone paint, so we're gonna try to take it along, and this is where we're gonna go, and we're gonna try to paint a little flesh tone into the face here and put it so it's gonna make its work come along the way it ought to be. And then there's little places where we're going to add in a little more and make it so we're going to try to, and with a wood like this we normally carve in the eyes, but we're just going to paint in the eyes for this like we've kind of done on a few other pieces, and so they'd be a little hard to carve in here. And I'd say there's a place where on the forehead you probably got a little dent in the wood, but that will just count as a wrinkle on the face. But after all, Santa Claus or Grandfather Frost or whoever is in fact an old man, so that's how he's going to come to turn out when we all get done with him, and make it so he's going to be a little specialized character when we get done with all the painting part. And see, it's always been a good thing just to know how it was with old Father Nicholas. And so with a little work in this life, we finally got to where we got him painted out, and we're going to put a little bit into the face of this other one as well, try to make him come out a little better, a little more, and see how it all is just going to be, and make it where the thing is that it's going to show in the end for all we're doing, for all the work we're making of it. So happy to know, happy to tell, and see a little ways that shall brighten us up and lighten us up, and see how we got a little work to come in, I say. And it's just kind of where this is how it's going to come out in the very end. And so This kind of work is just the best we can make it be. And as for now, there's little places where the flesh came out on the mustache here, but we're just going to cover that up in white paint when we come back over it. And so that is how it's going to come in the end. And I just want to say that appreciate you all coming on to watch, and I'm going to stop the video right here, and in the next video we're going to move on to the next step. Now is the moment when we're going to take a little plain white paint and go along the beard and the mustache here. So as a little work is making its way to us, I say, as for how the work's coming along, it's doing so great. And this is a morning when it's up in the morning before the time I go to work, so we finally get around to taking care of just some little things like this. I say, in this time of day, you know, we kind of do these little YouTube tutorials to kind of show how the work shall come along in its ways and see how it does. And here we finally got the little beard and mustache to come out and make its way to us. This is how it's going to look in the end. And so we're going to kind of show a little demonstration here. This is the one where a little flesh got out on the mustache, so we're going to take care of that a little bit here as well and see how it's going to come out in the end when we all get the work here done, and see how it's all going to be. Make it so we come along with this. Oh, the little work shall shine its way into us, make us all see brighter, brighter, brighter days to come, and how it's going to come. It's going to be what we know in the end. And so, as of now, we're working on this beard and saying it's just as good as it's going to be. And now, with all my low voice down so low in this place, it's kind of hard to be heard now, but this is the way it's going to be. So this is how we got this along, and so I say it's just the work as of itself come along like this. We know that little work doesn't hurt us in any way, and there's so much to show and say over time that I'm going to get it all done sooner or later. Show you all the power in the work. So we've got this much done now, and in the next video we're going to come along the sleeve cuffs and the back of the belt, and even along the ruffle at the bottom here. So thank you again for watching, and take care.